Well, hello, it's me again. It's Monday, the 5th of August, and I'm going to feature another one of my collectible t-shirts. Todd Rundgren's Utopia. I really like Todd Rundgren. I like Utopia too. I've seen Todd maybe 9 times live. I've met him twice. A friend of mine, I didn't even do it, a friend of mine who's a total Todd fanatic, and I've seen him over 100 times, gave Todd copies of some of my records. And Todd told him, tell your friend that I'm going to keep these. When people give me records, I think that's special. So Todd Rundgren owns copies of some of my music. So does Philip Glass. And when I gave Philip Glass a copy of my first couple of EPs, he asked me to autograph them for him. Pretty cool. Thanks for everything, folks. Thanks for understanding. I got a couple of orders yesterday, and I really am down to just a few yellow vinyl nice albums. I am not going to count. I know I've got maybe 5 copies left, but one more is going out to Canada, and I'm going to see how much postage has changed for Canada. Last time I sent to England, I told you that whole fiasco. We'll see what postage is for Canada now. It's probably gone up. But thank you for everything. Thank you. Utopia. Yeah, I've got a bunch of Todd Rundgren records. I do. But to start this video, I wanted to talk for a second about reading material, about magazines, because I want to show some things, some things I'm proud of. But when I was working, I made sure to keep up with the latest in magazines, and since I don't work, I'm not able to buy magazines, but thankfully I have a couple of friends who, when they're done with their magazines, they give them to me. But some important magazines to me over the years: Goldmine. And here's one in my Peter Gabriel collection. As I said, I collect stuff. Goldmine, Record Collectors Magazine. You all know that one. It's pretty important. Uncut, another good informative magazine, not just about music, but about movies and stuff. Of course, I am always reading Mojo, and I didn't grab one, did I? Let me just grab one. So I have a ton of Mojo magazines. Here's one that was sent to me recently. For the longest time, it was kind of a bucket list desire of mine to see my name in Mojo. The Sun Ambulance album that I play on has been reviewed in Mojo. They didn't use my name, but it doesn't matter now like it did years ago. But Mojo is a good magazine. Wire, good magazine. Good magazine. Another great magazine, Wax Poetics. Also, for you Wax Poetics readers, you know the name Kyle Eustace? Kyle Eustace? Kyle is from Omaha. Her dad is a good friend of mine. He was the bass player in my band, Dereck Higgins band, for years. Kyle grew up around me. She's a big writer for Wax Poetics. Tape-Op magazine. Yeah. Galactic Zoo Dossier. This was a particular issue where they put in these trading cards of psychedelic artists and bands. Excuse me. Arthur sent this magazine to me recently, and it's good. Roots magazine. Very informative. Classic rock. Oh, and I didn't grab a prog. I read prog. Signal to Noise. Do you know this magazine? Very good. Record Collector. International Record Collecting Magazine. This is out of business, but for a while Skyscraper was going on, and I would buy this because it was pretty informative. The writing wasn't the best, but they were covering a lot of bands, a lot of independent bands that I wanted to find out about. And someone sent this to me. The Cricket. Can't remember the article. Someone look at it again. But with that said, I want to also show this magazine behind me. The one on the wall. Encounter is a local Omaha magazine that is about local commerce, arts and entertainment, and in 2016 I made the cover about my history of involvement in Omaha music. Also, I was a art resident at the Bemis Center for Contemporary Art that year, and they did a feature on that. So that's the significance of this back there. When I went out to the office of the Omaha magazine to pick up some spare copies, I saw they had most of the covers of their magazines, blown up and on the walls. And this is quite an honor to me, so I asked them if I could have one, and they made me one. And so, speaking of magazines, another magazine that I became aware of because I'm a part of this issue is, I think it's out of Canada, Explorations in Sound Music Works. This particular issue I'm showing because it features a CD of music, and one of the tracks on it is mine. Let me find the article here. Okay, Di Mainstone is the artist that I worked with. Okay, and if I can, there it is. Okay, Di Mainstone is a English artist who is becoming famous for creating audio works that employ bridges, literally playing bridges. She did a residency here in Omaha a few years ago, and we collaborated as she explored the idea of making a sound work with one of the walking bridges here in Omaha. So we did a lot of sound work experiments on the bridge. I used some of those field recordings to make a composition which is featured on the CD on this. I thought I'd show you that. A magazine that's no longer around but was good when it was Magnet. Do you remember Magnet magazine? This was a good indie magazine. I'm showing this one in particular because it's another personal claim to fame. When I was on tour, let me find it. When I was on tour with Sun Ambulance, we got featured in the magazine, and it's just one of those little things that really means a lot. I love reading about bands, and then next thing you know, there I am in one of those glossy rock magazines. That was us in Chicago. It was a real cool experience doing the photo shoot, because the I forget his name, it's in there, but he's a professional photographer who's photographed everyone from Sly Stone to Paul McCartney to Bob Dylan, and he had a budget, so we went all over Chicago shooting all kinds of pictures. It was really fun. That's one from my archives. This is a local entertainment magazine advertising thing where they've done a few, which one is this? See, I should get ready. Yeah, well, they've done a few features on me, and most recently they did this feature on me, Dereck Higgins Hall of Fame. Bust through, about me getting into the Hall of Fame. Thought I'd share that with you. And the last thing I'll share with you, which I'm real proud of, is that back in the issue is this? November of 2015, Record Collector magazine out of England. I'm pretty sure it's out of England. They have their monthly features, or their regular features rather. And their regular feature is the collector. And this year, I was featured. High Plains Drifter Dereck Higgins. So my collection actually is famous. It actually is. And yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that. Wanted to share that with you folks. Okay, it's important to me. A little music and a little more talk, because by now, if you don't realize that this is not some kind of service, this is me and my home. This is reality. So what you see is what you get, and I will speak about what I damn well please. Last night, while I was on and off the internet looking at all the hubbub going on about the latest bouts of domestic terrorists, I played this. I love the Ramones, and this is one of those record store day reissues or issues where it's one side is the original, and this is Havana Affair by Ramones, and the B-side is a cover by a band. And this one is Red Hot Chili Peppers covering Havana Affair. I think their cover is wretched. I've met Chili Peppers, I like them, but I'm not real hot on their music. I don't think their records are really that good, actually. I own one Chili Peppers 12-inch single. I've never bought one of their albums, okay? And I've sold most of my Ramones records. I bought some back, but here's another single that I kept. You Don't Come Close, and I Don't Want You. As I've said, I've met all the Ramones except for Tommy. Love those guys. Love those guys. Arto Lindsay first came to my attention in the band DNA. No Wave, No Noise, New York, all that. Originally from Brazil, though. I love his music. This is a remix CD of his out of the 90s. Hyper Civilizado. Really good. Really good. Really good. I'm not going to stay long today. I do want to end up by following up further with my weekend videos. All the time, over the years, it'll take me a while before something that someone says will cause me to react. Every time I do, I get this feedback from people. Ignore the stupid people. Fuck the haters. Keep your channel happy. You know, I understand that. But my response is, I do ignore the stupid people until I get to a point where it's like, okay, this one gets me, and I address it. Here's why. And I'm going to relate it to domestic terrorism and these sad individuals who killed people over the weekend. Those people, I'm certain of it, in many ways, have been ignored. Behavior doesn't go away by ignoring it. You parents surely know that. So it comes time when I just have to address this. And here's the message. Trolling is not something new, but it comes after my generation. I know that my generation, my parents and adults around me, took the time to teach core values and community standards. They taught you stuff like basic respect for others. I remember being taught how to drive. Did you guys get taught this? The best way to drive is to try to think like ants. Ants move in armies. When you're in traffic, it's not just you, you're in the flow. So when you're driving with a consciousness of all the other drivers and driving with their safety in mind with yours, everyone is safer. That's gone. Trolling is bad behavior, it's immature, and it's something that I think, again, we've dropped the ball. I've talked to some younger people that I know who troll and think it's funny. When I had the conversation with, I won't say his name, this one particular young man I was working with, he just thought it was funny, and he thought that making people lose their shit was funny. And then I gave him a perspective and a background that he had never heard before. I don't know if he has stopped trolling, but he never thought about the idea that, your few seconds of entertainment is at the real expense of someone who you may indeed have caused real pain and suffering. It's not okay. Now, people who troll me just get on my nerves and make me angry for a little bit, and then I move on. But the thing is, it also brings this stuff up so I can use it to pass on information, to try to help, okay? Just ignoring trolling and certain bad behaviors doesn't help. It doesn't. So I'll take them on. And the other thing is that people will try, and this is how I know that it's bullshit, that they don't care, that they're not friends. I'll be trying to pick apart things I say, looking for inconsistencies. Well, bro, sis, everybody, there's a lot of inconsistency in what I say. I'm a human being, okay? What did somebody catch the other day? I was talking about Blake Sleeves and said, I don't know who made Blake Sleeves, and I just said the guy's name. I was trying to think of his whole name. Still don't know, but then someone pointed out, Blake Sleeves were made by Blake. Was I insulted? No. But when people say stuff like they know me, or that they're going to tell me what to say, or correct me unnecessarily, and there's someone who I remove his comments, I'm about to block your ass, you're not so clever, and I don't give a fuck about your concerns about the language. I don't even know who you are, and it makes a difference. If I know you personally, what I accept from you goes deeper than complete strangers. That's another thing I've said to people who will come over here and try to tell my business, tell me what to say. If you think you have something important to say, you say it. You get a channel and get on here and see who watches your ass. I have no shame in my game, nothing to apologize for, nothing. Yesterday was Klaus Schultz's birthday, the German synthesizer artist who first came to my attention as the drummer with Ashra Temple, so I played some Klaus Schultz. This is a live album. It has highs and lows. There's parts on this album where you can hear where it's what Klaus Schultz says. He says, I never know what I'm going to get out of these synthesizers. I couldn't recreate a sound if I wanted to. And there's times where you can hear he's just moving through permutations, and then sometimes something happens and it's kind of jarring, or it moves into a direction and it's not really that pleasant, and then he'll try to shape it. So that's where he gets my love and respect. These two Klaus Schultz albums I really like. Body Music. I haven't seen the film. It's some film soundtrack. And Dune. Yeah, Klaus Schultz is cool. Klaus Schultz is cool. One more thing. I've listened to this. A lot of times I'll think that I don't want to hear this because it's going to sound dated, and then I played it last night and it had me dancing in my seat. Yellow Magic Orchestra's Solid State Survivor. It includes the song Behind the Mask, which Michael Jackson did a cover-up and called it something different. Wrote words for. The Yellow Magic Orchestra are highly influential. They have influenced everything from electronic music to hip-hop. I love this band. Thankfully, I got to see Yellow Magic Orchestra live. Love them. Folks, I appreciate your comments. I'll say it again. You can make requests, but I'm not into it, because if I do a request, well, I've done this in the past, so I've already experienced it. I do a request, then the requests just start to flood in, and then it's no fun because I'm not doing what I want to do. And we always enjoy life better when we're doing what we want to do. Be well, people.